and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome, and as we get ready to rock and roll here for another evening of wonderful racing with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. As we head to the short track here at Richmond Raceway, we will get ready to set these drivers loose for another amazing night here in iRacing and on Peacemaker Gaming. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I am Aaron up here in the booth with with all these amazing drivers ready to rock and roll. We are on the edge of our seat already, as Richmond Raceway is always such a very technical and difficult track to get around. You got to be very cautious on your tires. You got to be very cautious on your throttle inputs and brake inputs around this racetrack to make it around the speedway nice and easy and without running into any issues. So we'll have these drivers on the edge of their seats. They'll be on their tippy toes, making sure they try to hit their marks lap after lap after lap as we see these drivers out onto the speedway here qualifying underway for each and every one of these drivers right now. Matthew Wood with the quick time. You see Thomas Obarth out there on the speedway. Grant Applegate looking to have another great run here this evening after picking up the checkered flag last week. He's looking to make it 2 for 2 here over the last couple weeks. Applegate looking for a good run in that 57 ride. Trenton Johns out there on the speedway as well. Trenton out there on the track, rolling there in the 28 machine. We'll see Nathan Brookover sliding there through the infield. Heavy contact as the rear end bounces off the inside wall. Heavy hit right there as Josh Kreider in the rubbered up number 5 ride. He's going to jump out onto the speedway as well as Snicker Sorcerer says, let's go, let's go. Snicker coming in, showing the love. Caster plays, my boy Caster in the chat as well. Rabbit Hash Trash says, let's go number 69. Don't get a DNF. Woo! Don't get one. No DNS for the 69 ride here this evening for Dylan Carrier. At least that's the hope, as Dallas Seward commenting on the post as well over there on YouTube says, anyone but Dallas Seward. That guy sucks. No self-confidence out of Mr. Seward here this evening. Come on, Dallas. Come on. You got to be in your own corner, okay? You got to be in your own corner, as we do see Benjamin Romano out there onto the speedway here in his DuPont 24 ride. Looking to get a good lap time in. Nathan Brookover going to attempt it again, but goes for another slide down through the infield here for the United for America number 8 machine, as definitely having some struggles there off corner number 4, and I think we're going to see drivers run into issues all evening long with the handling of these cars. We're going to see them slip sliding around all evening, and with what could be a bit of a wreck fest here on the evening, but hopefully we see minimal caution flags. Hopefully we see nothing but great racing action. As my boy Matthew Glenn, Mr. Glenn coming in, showing the love. How are you, Matthew? Matthew coming in, showing the love here in this one, as well as we'll get ready to rock and roll here in just a few more moments. We'll get ready for our national anthem here, brought to you by Landon Burbridge. So Landon Burbridge is going to bring us our national anthem, so we ask you to please rise and remove your hats for our national anthem here at Richmond Raceway. Alrighty, shout out there to Landon Burbridge coming in and giving us the national anthem, as we will go trackside down to Lonnie Kreider with the opening command here on the...
Hi, I'm Lonnie Kreider, your Grand Marshal of tonight's race. Another great day that the Lord has made for us to do this racing for tonight. So, gentlemen, good luck to all of you tonight. One more thing to say. Start those engines and let's go racing, guys.
Alrighty, shout out there to Lonnie Kreider coming in with our opening command as these drivers get lined up down on the front straightaway. We will get ready to set them loose here as a beautiful 200-lap race at Richmond Raceway about to get underway as the Racers for Christ, number 16, Matthew Wood, will lead us to the green flag. His outside in the 78 ride, that is Ryan Rose in that 78 machine. Landon Burbridge, our anthem singer here with the trumpet. They are starting in the third spot. Then we see the number 54 of Thomas Hovarth going to start there to his outside in position number 4. William Connolly there in 5th with Kevin Winker in the Sonic Graphic Designs Muehlberger Custom Homes number 42 there in 6. Then we see the 6th ride of Brian Underwood, Josh Kreider, Ben Gleason, and Farrell Robbins in the Baskin-Robbins number 76 ride. Round out our top 10. Chris Stange, Hayden Gargiulo there in 12th. Then we see Jordan Hand, Aiden Lucas, Jordan Kreider, Grant Applegate, Jaden Porter, Jonathan Gaston, Danny White, Evan Stewart, Ryan Haller, Benjamin Romano, Dylan Carrier, Trenton Johns, Paul LeCourt, Melvin Brengruer, and Dallas Seward, Nathan Brook over our top 28, getting ready to go. Green flag racing is Noah Blackwell and John Ashby not out there on the speedway. So start 30 cars. Looks like we got 28 getting ready for the initial green flag here on the evening as Matthew Wood and Ryan Rose will bring us to the green flag. Winker says, let's see who can save the tires and keep the car out of the fence. That is going to be the biggest question right there. Who can keep their car clean? Who can keep themselves out of trouble here throughout the evening as we will see the green flag this time by the start finish line as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. We quickly go green flag racing here at Richmond Raceway as Matthew Wood leads us down through quarter number 1, and out at quarter number 2 he'll slide up and clear Ryan Rose in that top spot. So Rose there in second as they go single file there for the first couple rows down into quarter number 3 and 4 for the most part. Everyone making it through, everyone doing a great job here, keeping themselves out of trouble on the opening lap as you see these drivers spread out. Everyone going 2 wide, 3 wide around the racetrack, trying to figure out where they can put their car, where they can find that speed to try to work themselves forward here on the short run, as we may have more short runs than long runs here this evening, but things starting to get a little bit more single file up towards our front of the field is about the top 15 single file now on the speedway, as each and every one of these drivers is going to be looking to try to work themselves to the front of the field and maybe trying to take over this top spot. As right now Matthew Wood in that 16 ride continuing to lead the way as Ryan Rose right there in second. Thomas Hovarth there in position number 3 with Landon Burbridge there in position number 4 and looking for more. Kevin Winker, the Winker Nation ride there in position number 5 with William Conley there behind him in that 6th position. Conley looking for a good run in a fast car here this evening for the Firefox number 25 ride. And we got a lot of these drivers in our driver cams. We'll take a look here at Mr. Conley out there on the speedway right now. As Conley out there on the track, he is ready to rock and roll. Let's move that over there so we don't block Lonnie Kreider's logo right there as you take a good look at him behind the wheel, trying to navigate this 25 ride around the racetrack with the kind of wheel he has to put into it here. So you can see that car. He's turning, trying to get this thing pointed in the right direction and trying to hunt down that number 42 with Kevin Winker. As Winker rolling there inside the top 5 as Natalie Underwood says, let's go number 69. Cheering on the 69 right out there on the racetrack. Tyler says, let's go racing, boys. Good luck, everyone. Yes, Sirski, let's go racing is true. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in, please make sure you guys do us a favor right now here at the beginning of the show. Hit the gosh heckin' like button on the broadcast. Hit the like button. Drop a couple comments, share it out to all your friends and family, send it to your Facebook, send it to your Instagram or your Twitter, send it everywhere so we can get all the eyes in the skies here, get all the fans in the stands here cheering these drivers on here throughout the evening and help them not miss a single moment of amazing racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. As out in front, continuing to lead the way, Matthew Wood showing some muscle here as he's got that 16 ride, putting it in the right direction, and now starting to open up a little bit of a gap here, about 3 car lengths between himself and that 78 Orion Rose. Rose trying to hunt him down though, not letting him run away with it, trying to stick right there with him as Landon Burbridge there in position number 3, able to get back around Thomas Hovarth as Hovarth slides back there into that 4th spot on the speedway. Kevin Winker hanging on to position number 5 right now. Is not a lot of movement throughout our top 10, but we do see Jordan Hand in the Optic Gaming number 1 ride already up a couple spots here on the speedway. He rolls there in the 11th position, trying to track down our top 10 here on the speedways. Chris Staines right there behind him. Caden Gargiulo back there in position number 13. Jaden Porter up 3 spots early in the Sim Racing Center number 74 ride, working himself up and inside the top 15 here as Grant Applegate going to take a look down low underneath of him here as Applegate was able to pick up the win last week. He is looking to put that Me Machine, the shades of Ricky Bobby ride, back into victory lane here on the evening as Applegate rolls there in the 14th position. Jaden Porter there in the 15th spot as Danny White rolls there in the 16th position here on the speedway. Now, Danny White going to take a look underneath the Jaden Porter here, looking to make the move to work himself inside the top 15 as our hard charger in the race is this Phoenix Esports number 88 ride as Dylan Carrier has worked himself now up into the 17th position on the speedway here. Dylan there in 17th. He's trying to reel in our top 15 as he's got Jordan Kreider right there behind him in that 69 ride. So Jordan Kreider there in the 18th spot has Jonathan Gaston and Paul LaCourte right there behind him as LaCourte's been able to work up here as well. LaCourte looked to have a very, very fast car last week. Unfortunately, some pitch strategy really affected that 41 ride, and unfortunately, I think took him right out of contention, but man, he was looking very fast. Same with Benjamin Romano, had a very good car as well, pretty fast out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, in the field right now as Aiden Lucas, Nathan Brookover, Evan Stewart, Trenton Johns, and Dallas Seward are top 26 on the speedway. And then you see Melvin Brengruer there in position number 27. Ryan Haller in the 99 ride. I expected a lot more for Ryan Haller out of this one as he's back in the 28th position. And our race leader isn't a whole lot behind him here. Matthew Wood might start running into some of this lap traffic here in the next few laps, but we're going to see the first caution flag of the evening fly. Our first yellow flag of the day has been displayed, and that will save all of our race leaders from running into lap traffic as it looks like Dylan Carrier and the 37 ride getting some damage here. Dylan Carrier and the Phoenix Esports machine, heavy damage there on that back end. We'll take a look back and see what happened to bring out our first yellow flag of the day as he works underneath the 74 ride here of Jaden Porter. Porter and the 88 going to make some contact there. Unfortunately, just goes up the track and pinches off the nose there of that number 74. Gets a good piece of the that's a big hit, actually, for the 41 ride. So we'll take another look at it. Let's see if we can get another angle. Is that I'm not sure if he just thought he was clear right there or if he just came up and just tried to pinch him off. But nonetheless, 88 comes up a little bit too far. They run out of room. This is a common theme here at Richmond Raceway of that happening. And unfortunately, the Majors Garage Auto Value Parts Stores, the NJBDesigns.com ride goes for a ride right here, and luckily enough doesn't look like too much damage for Porter, but if you watch this 41 machine of Paul LaCourte, he's going to slide in here. He gets tagged in the rear end, and unfortunately that slides him up the racetrack here. Hopefully no heavy contact for him. Hopefully everyone else can stay clear, but he does get hammered right there. So pretty good damage for that 41 ride as Trenton Johns comes in, and unfortunately just heavy contact here. Trenton just slides in, unfortunately can't get down and out of the way quick enough, and he sees a Oh, man. The big hit right into the passenger side door there of the 41 ride. And that's a tough break for John to see if we can get a look here. His perspective under power. He sees the smoke. He sees what's happening. Trying to go high. Decides to go low. Unfortunately, aim for the middle right there. And Lacourt doing the right thing. Just hanging on and putting the brakes down and not sliding down or back up the racetrack. And unfortunately for Johns, he gets heavy contact right there. Heavy damage. And we also saw Evan Stewart getting collected in this as well. Stewart with some pretty good damage here for himself as the 37 ride. The Sim Racing Center machine slides into this as well and just unfortunately gets ran over there by Dallas Seward as Seward sends it in there. Unfortunately gets in a little bit too hot, gets into the back end of that 37 ride, and some pretty good damage for both of those contenders as I think Seward was hoping to just get through there a little bit quicker and unfortunately on the throttle, not onto the brakes quick enough, and Seward just gets in there, gets a piece of them, and puts them up into the fence. Heavy damage for both drivers on the front end. So a bunch of tore up race cars there for our first caution flag of the day. And that means we'll get ready here for our first restart of the evening. So down through the Geico restart zone, we will see these drivers go back to green flag racing as Matthew Wood puts the hammer down. Here's our control car down across the line. He gets a great jump, opens up a car length lead down here into corner number 1. Now this is where things can get a little bit tricky because cautions breed cautions, but a great crossover out of the Camaro, the 78. He's going to open up the door down low. He's going to take a look to the inside of Matthew Wood for our race lead. Wood with a good 3 and 4 will clear the 78 ride here, but leaving that inside lane a little bit open as he's going to run a lane up through corner 1 into the 78 ride. Still right there. Ryan Rose looking for a way to jump up here and take this race lead away, and don't look now because here comes Brian Underwood, the Gaston Iowa Racing Graphics number 6 ride, working himself to the inside here at Thomas Hobart for position number 4 on the speedway. He's looking to try to clear this 54 ride. Has Landon Burbridge right there in front of him as Josh Kreider there as well. Kevin Winker trying to hang on here to the 7th position as he's got Jordan Hand there to his outside. William Conley back there in 9th, and Ben Gleason rounding out our top 10 in the No Luck Motorsports. Number 66 is Caden Gargiulo there in position number 11 on the speedway. Farrell Robbins slides outside the top 10 now in that 76 ride as he's back to that 12th position as Chris Stange, Danny White, and Jordan Kreider right there behind him as Kreider rounds out our top 15 here on the speedway. Benjamin Romano there in 16th with Jaden Porter, Paul Lacourt, Trenton Johnson, Jonathan Gaston, our top 20 here on the racetrack as Matthew Wood continues to lead the way as the laps are getting clicked down here in a quick hurry in the Lonnie Kreider 200 here from Richmond Raceway in the Premium Stock Car Racing League as these drivers are continuing to battle out there on the speedway. We'll take a look back here and see some of those drivers that unfortunately had contact during that first yellow flag. We take a look, Evan Stewart off the speedway there. We do see Aiden Lucas right there got a little contact. He's still rolling pretty good there in 26. You see that damage still on the front end of this 38 ride, and that car definitely handling a little bit of stride right now. Going to need a few more caution laps and some more work done to get that car back to 100% for Dallas Seward as he's got the 84 of Melvin Brangerer right there in front of him as we do look at Dylan Carrier trying to work himself back inside the top 20 here as he works to the back end of the 72 with Jonathan Gaston as Gaston right there in front of him. Good to see Gaston there. Good to see Dylan Carrier pointed back in the right direction. We do see Grant Applegate a little farther back here. So Applegate, I do believe, did come down pit side during that caution break and had some work done to the 57 machine as well. Didn't really have any damage, but maybe just some strategy being played already. Maybe getting some fuel into that car, looking to maybe extend this fuel run a little bit farther than everybody else in front of them. As unfortunately for Evan Stewart, though, that car heavily damaged, is still down and off the racetrack. He's actually taken it back behind pit wall, so a tough break there for Evan Stewart, as that may be the end of his evening. Paul LaCour, after getting T-boned there in quarter number 3 and 4, he is back up here battling, trying to work himself inside the top 15 here, as he's right there just on the outside. Has our 15th and 16th place driver battling in front of him is Danny White and Benjamin Romano battled there for that 15th spot, as Jordan Kreider now up into the 14th position. Is out in front, Matthew Wood continuing to hang on here to our early race lead, as there is still a lot of racing action left to be had here from the beautiful Richmond Raceway. Still a lot of laps for these drivers to contend. Is only 30 laps of 200 down here at the track, and I know stage number 1, so some stage points being given out at the end of 50 laps. So the end of 50 laps, we will see a stage break, and at the end of 100 laps, we will see stage break number 2. So that could really mix things up and really allow these drivers to try to work on some of their strategy. Now, it's not only strategy possibly fuel-wise, but strategy tire-wise. I do believe they have 3 sets down behind pit wall. They could have more, but I do believe it is 3 sets of tires down behind pit wall here for these drivers. So with only 3 sets, that's a tough one right there. You know, that's a tough one. It's tough to kind of manage your tires, keep yourself out of trouble, and keep those tires underneath of you week after week after week. And it can get very, very tough here in this one as well. So it's going to be interesting to see on who's going to be able to keep themselves pointing in the right direction, out of trouble, and hoping to not have any, you know, additional pit stops here, as that's the one you want to look out for. You don't want to have those extra pit stops. You don't want to have to come down pit side multiple times here, making those extra pit stops, putting on extra sets of tires. You want to try to save those tires for the end of this race if you need them. If you need them and you got them, that's the best time to have them, especially if we see a late race caution flag. And you can catch a lot of other drivers without those extra tires, as we do see the caution flag coming back out here. So caution flag number 2 here on the speedway, and oh no, looks like Dylan Carrier may have gotten elected in another one here, as I do believe Farrell Robbins going to run into some issues here in the 76 ride. A little bit of a log jam down the bottom side, as it looks like he's going to get into the back end of Caden Gargiulo right there, as Caden gets a little loose. The 76 checks up. Josh Kreider gets a piece of him there. Helps the Baskin-Robbins ride go for a loop-de-loop. And then I don't know if this continued on down the front straightaway, because it looks like Dylan Carrier also had some issues here in the 88 ride. This was happening. We'll take a look and see what happened to the 88 machine, as, oh yeah, he's going to get a little piece there of the 72 ride as they were checking up. Or the 76, unfortunately, just gets into the back end there of Jonathan Gaston, and that just sends Gaston down through the infield, sends Dylan Carrier down through the infield as well. And luckily enough, I mean, maybe some pretty good front end damage for the 88 ride, a little bit of rear end damage for the 72, but other than that, nothing too major for those drivers, but that is going to hurt their cars, and you want to minimize those mistakes. You want to minimize that contact out here on the speedway, especially early on. The more times you're getting into drivers, the more times you're making that contact, having them, you know, get loose or spin around. You're burning up those tires. You're, you know, wearing out this car, and you want to have a good car late in this race to be able to continue to contend here in this evening's festivities. Is out in front, the 16 of Matthew Wood. Continue to lead the way here. Ryan Rose right there with him, has challenged him a couple times for the early race lead, as Landon Burbridge there in position number 3. Brian Underwood there in 4th with Thomas Hovarth, Jordan Hand, Josh Kreider, William Conley, Ben Gleason, and Chris Stange rounding out our top 10 here on the speedway, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing. But we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors over at njbdesigns.com.
Revolutionize the way you see your car with the hottest trends in sim racing At njbdesigns.com, we specialize in transforming your vehicle into a work of art. Whether you're looking to add a sleek matte finish, a flashy chrome accent, or a custom design that turns heads, our designer has you covered. Imagine winning in a car that reflects your personality or promotes your business and style. Choose from a wide range of colors, textures, and finishes to suit every taste and occasion. Why settle for ordinary when you can stand out from the crowd? Visit njbdesigns.com today and let our team of professionals bring your vision to life. Transform your car, transform your journey, and be a champion, and choose us.
Alrighty, as we go back to Green Flag Racing, Matthew Wood with another good restart quickly down into corner number 1 as he got another great launch there through corner 4. Man, oh man, oh man, he's opening up that gap here once again with the 78 line, trying to hang right there with him, trying to put that pressure still to his back bumper. Now taking a look to the outside, looking for a big run down at a corner number 4. They go door to door down the front straightaway. Matthew Wood able to lead lap at number 38 right there, but that 78 ride is putting that pressure to the outside of the 16 machine and is really pinching him down, and we may see our first lead change here of the evening. The 78 of Ryan Rose to the outside lane will take this race lead away, and we get a new race leader here at Richmond Raceway, as Ryan Rose will jump up and take this race lead away from the 16 machine of Matthew Wood. Wood will slide back to second as we see, I do believe, another caution flag gonna fly, as cautions breed cautions here at Richmond Raceway. That is short track racing, and unfortunately our third yellow flag of the evening as the Burt's Electric 78 ride takes this race lead away just in time from Matthew Wood. As we'll take a look back, looks like Jaden Porter running into some issues here as the 74 ride going to get up and into the outside fence here. I don't think there was any contact between him and Applegate. Just looks like he sends it into the corner and it's a little snug in. Unfortunately, gets a little contact there with the outside fence, and then Ryan Haller's going to get him right there on corner exit, and heavy contact down into the inside wall right there for the Sim Racing Center number 74 ride. That's a big hit right there, man. That is a tough break for this number 74. It's just that little bit of a nudge right at the wrong place at the wrong time for that 74. Is fortunately just going to get in there. Haller just gives him that little nudge right here, and as he does, it just breaks traction, kicks that 74 rider around, and he shoots right down the speedway into that inside fence right in front of the 42 of Kevin Winker. Winker just narrowly avoiding this 74 ride. Look at the carnage there. Look at the damage and the impact from that 74 ride into the inside walls. We'll jump right on board with the helmet cam here of Jaden Porter and take a look and see what he's dealing with here as he's trying to roll through the corner exit, and then right there's the contact, and there's nothing you can do at that point. You're just hanging on, enjoying the ride, and hoping for the best, and unfortunately not getting the best outcome there for Mr. Porter. So he'll take his ride down pit side. The crew will go to work. They'll try to get that car fixed up and back out onto the speedway here, but he has quite a bit of damage to get fixed up, but he is back out onto the speedway. We'll see Paul LaCourte down pit side. We saw Dallas Stewart getting some more repairs to his Toyota Supra back out onto the racetrack as well. So you see some of these drivers back out there, as right now only one driver not out there on the speedway that took our green flag, and that's Evan Stewart. Stewart still yet to rejoin the field here, and we see Jordan Kreider down pit side. We see the 72 of Jonathan Gaston down pit side as well. The Gaston's iRacing Graphics number 72 machine, as Paul LaCourte down pit side again, getting some more repairs done to the 41 ride, trying to make sure that car gets fixed up and handling back into it so he can compete here throughout the rest of the evening, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Richmond Raceway. The lights are quickly off the official iRacing pace car, as one good thing with the short track racing is that caution flags are rather quick to kind of get things going here once again. We get a quick look at the replays, and then bam, we're right back into the racing action, and that's exactly what we want. As right now, ladies and gentlemen, we got almost over 20 people watching over on the YouTube channel. We only got 5 likes on the stream right now, ladies and gentlemen. Only 5 thumbs up on the broadcast over on the YouTube channel, and we have over 18, almost over 20 people watching. So make sure you hit that thumbs up as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. This time the control car, the 78 of Ryan Rose. As Rose sees that green flag fly quickly, puts the hammer down, gets that jump to the 16 rides. Been getting here lap after lap after lap, and he's able to use it his advantage here on this restart and able to open up a bit of a car length lead here, but that 16 trying to get right back to his rear bumper, looking to try to jump up and take this race lead back away from the 78. As you see the 6 ride of Brian Underwood, he's right there looking to pounce as well as he's up into position number 3. But look at the Optic Gaming number 1, Jordan Hand, out of nowhere. Jordan Hand started all the way back, I believe, in the 13th position. He's up 9 spots. Now into position number 4 and looking for more. Out here on the speedways, Jordan Hand working himself up and through the field here, and he is getting closer and closer to our race leaders, and he may be a threat throughout this race as Thomas Hovar slides back into that 5th position as Landon Burbridge there in 6th. William Conley there in 7th. Josh Kreider in 8th with Chris Stange and Ben Gleason rounding out our top 10. And we see some more heavy movers here throughout the field. Benjamin Romano there in 11th. And you see Dylan Carrier up into 12th here. Carrier, after getting tied up in a wreck early in this race, rebounding nicely here just outside the top 10 as we do see our 4th caution flag fly, 4th, 5th caution flag now, something like that. I think it's our 4th yellow flag already here on the evening. Unfortunately, cautions breeding cautions, and this time looks like Kevin Winker going to run into some issues here in the Muehlberger Custom Homes Camaro as he sends it down into corner number 3. Some contact in front of him. That's Caden Gargiulo getting spun sideways, and he collects the 42 hard up into the corner 4 wall there for the 42 of Kevin Winker. Well, that was a heavy hit right there for Mr. Winker, man. That was a tough break. Down low, just trying to avoid any issues here. And as there's contact in front of him, the 7 ride right here. The 28 goes up the track, tags the number 7 machine as the Guardian. Dare the drive, number 7 ride gets that contact, gets loose, comes down, and unfortunately right there into the right rear of the 42 and sends him up the speedway, up hard into the outside fence. Look at that car up onto 2 wheels right there. Oh, that's a heavy hit for Kevin Winker, man. That's a hit that unfortunately could possibly take him out of contention here for the rest of the day. We'll jump right on board here with that 42 ride and see what he can see as he sees the initial contact right there and just trying to stay underneath of it. He's down on the apron, trying to stay away from it. Unfortunately, could not find a lane to get around that one. That's a tough break right there for Winker Nation, and Kevin Winker there is he's some pretty good damage as CCDN Esports Series says, yeah, would have been 5+ laps down once again got ARCA braked into the corner and killed my motor. Oh, brother, that's a tough one right there. One of those weeks, yeah, that's a tough one for you, Evan. That's a tough one, brother. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong if you want to jump back out there, brother. I mean, we always like having cars out there on the speedway, and the more cars we can keep out there rolling. The car's fixed up now. The crew's went to work and got it fixed back up, man. There's nothing wrong just hanging out towards the back of the pack, you know, filling that notebook up, learning all the knowledge, getting that extra little bit of practice behind the wheel, and working on that car, and just you know, working on maybe setups or anything else for future races. Definitely not a bad thing. And I mean, as much as super speedway can become a dangerous racetrack with a abundance of race cars out there, because cautions become more cautions and more contact and more cars create more carnage, but nonetheless, man, we want to see you back out there on the speedways. We did see a lot of drivers head down pit side there during that break, so everyone coming down pit side at the front of the field. Ryan Rose will now restart back in the 5th position here. So Ryan Rose back in 5th as Danny White, Melvin Brangruer, Jordan Kreider, and Dylan Carrier. Now our front 4 drivers here staying out on the speedway. Rose, Wood, Brian Underwood, Jordan Hand, Thomas Hovarth, and Landon Burbridge. Now our top 10 here on the speedway. So mixing things up at the front of the field could make for a very interesting start here for our restart. This could become very interesting as stage number 1 has come to a close. So a good timely caution flag. Unfortunate for the number 42, Kevin Winker, but timely for our stage break. And as you see, Winker still down pit side, getting some more repairs done to that Muleberger Custom Homes ride. Heavy right front damage here for that car. You can see that damage is quite intensive. I do believe that right front is pointed in a completely different direction. Let's see if we get a good look at it here. Not sure if you'll get a great angle at how much this car is really pointed out of whack or not. Let's see if we can get another look at it here. Let's see if we can get a different angle at it and really take a look at it. There you go. You can kind of get a great look right there. So that tire is definitely very towed in on that race car, and unfortunately is not pointed. It's actually towed out and towed in on the top side. So I believe tow link and everything kind of busted up there on that right front for Kevin Winker, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here as the green flag quickly back out onto the racetrack here as these drivers looking to try to hit their marks and try to stay out in front, as Danny White, our race leader, gets a great restart, but unfortunately cautions breeding cautions here in this one, and we see the caution flag come right back out here on the restart. So caution flag coming right back out as we see a bunch of drivers getting collected here in this one. I do believe the 28 ride possibly right in the thick of things, but it starts in front of him as things get a little stacked up here on this restart. I'm not sure if that was Paul Lacourt. Who was the first driver to go around right here? It might have been the 99 ride. Possibly. Oh, 99 pointing in the right direction right here. We'll have to take another look at this one. Saw a couple drivers go around. That looks like the 77 going for a little bit of a loop-de-loop here. That is Aiden Lucas here. Let me see where we can find Aiden. There's Aiden Lucas in the 77 machine. Up on the high side. Looks like things just get stacked up. The 28 ride right in the thick of things. Oh, the 25 ride's the one that goes around down through the infield, but 28, 77, 24 all kind of come together. Then all of a sudden everyone else has to try to find a lane through it, and there was not a lot of room for a lot of these drivers. Unfortunately, it looks like Ben Gleason in the 66 ride, the No Luck Motorsports ride, going to get some pretty heavy damage in it as the 77 comes back up. He gets a piece of them. The 8 ride nowhere to go. He gets tied up in that one, as well as Jaden Porter. We saw the 41 of Paul Lacourt in there as well in the number 41 ride as he takes his car right down pit side. So a big one. Down in corner number 1 is a lot of drivers just got absolutely destroyed here. A lot of cars just got tore up heavily, and fortunately for a lot of these drivers, oh man, heavy hit right there, and that looked like a lot of neck code right there. I don't even know if he was hitting him or not. He sends it in here. 77 ride going around. Unfortunately, all these drivers up into the outside fence. Heavy damage for the Monster Energy 28 ride. Heavy damage for the United for America number 8 ride. You see Kevin Winker getting into that one as well. Winker with heavy damage now on the right front and the left front as he gets in there a little bit too deep. And unfortunately, he was farther back here, so he was building up a lot of speed. And unfortunately, yeah, that's where he gets into the 74 ride of Jaden Porter, and then gonna get checked up. Unfortunately, gets in there. Bottom end of that motor falls out. So Kevin Winker and Winker Nation not having the best of evenings here. Did see the 25 ride also go for a ride through the grass. Let's see if we can get a look here at that 25 machine of William Conley. As Conley was the first driver to go around here on this restart. Now, I'm not sure what happened to him, but it looks like he just gets a big shove. Oh, right there. As you take a look at it in slow motion, I think he misses a gear right here. The 25 ride misses a gear. Unfortunately, the car's already going around. Heavy front end damage for the 29 ride. As Stange gets into him, sends him down through the infield, and then everything else up there above him as a ton of drivers tore up, a ton of cars absolutely mangled here. The lights are still on the official iRacing pace car, so let's take another look at this one quickly from the 28 ride. So the 28 machine up on the high side of Trenton Johns here. Trenton looks like he's just going to get up into the outside fence. I do believe the 57 of Grant Applegate on his back bumper. Not sure if there's contact. Doesn't really look like there's contact, but as he's coming up the 24 with a big head of steam, comes up there to the outside lane. I don't think the 28 of Johns realized he was there, and that's what initially makes this contact. He comes down the speedway, then up into the 77 ride, and then he gets back into the wall, the 77 down into the inside fence. And then from that point on, it's on like Donkey Kong as all these drivers, we got 6, 7, 8, 10 drivers back here trying to figure out a way to get through all the carnage that's just unfolded in front of them. As out in front of the field, we're going to see the green flag come back out. Danny White, once again, another good restart here for the 79 ride on a little bit older equipment than some of the cars back there behind him. So we got some new tires, some old tires out there on the speedway. We'll see if they can hang on to it and hold off. You know, Ryan Rose, who's already worked himself up into position number 3 here, as him and Brian Underwood march their way towards the front of the field here. As you see Jordan Kreiner trying to hang on to it as they're almost 3 wide here in the front of the field. Oh baby, things are getting very, very interesting here at the front of the field, ladies and gentlemen. Now you see the 6 ride way down the racetrack. Unfortunately, did not get the run he needed there on corner number 2. Had to save that ride, lit out of the throttle. He slides back to the 4th spot. It's the 78 of Ryan Rose trying to stay right there on the rubbered up 69's back bumper of Jordan Kreiner. Kreiner trying to hang on to the race lead, but I don't think he's going to have enough to hold off Ryan Rose. Rose trying to get back to the front of the field. The 6 machine of Brian Underwood now up into 3rd here as he's rolled around the Jack Daniels number 79 of Danny White. White slides back to 4th as here comes Thomas Hovarth. Jordan Hand in the 16 of Matthew Wood. Hasn't really made up much ground here since that restart, as he's got Grant Applegate, Dylan Carrier right there behind him, and then Landon Burbridge rounding out our top 10 is Burbridge there in the HendrickCars.com number 2 ride. You see the 5 of Josh Kreider right there on the outside of the top 10 looking in here as Christange there in 12th, Jonathan Gaston, Farrell Robbins, Dallas Seward, Artum 15. The 25 of William Conley, luckily enough, after the initial contact to his back end there, a little bit of rear end damage, but nothing too major for the 25 ride. Rolling just outside the top 15 right now is Ryan Haller right there with them, and Aiden Lucas there, as well as Caden Gargiulo and Benjamin Romano rounding out our top 20 here on the Speedway. Ryan Rose, though, able to jump up and take this race lead away. Rose looking very, very good here in this one, and right now smelling the roses and hoping to find his way into victory lane here on the evening. But we still got a lot of laps of racing action here ahead of us. Is lap 65 off the board here. We still got 135 laps left to go here on the evening. So Ryan Rose just doing everything he can to try to keep himself at the front of the field. As my girl Joycelyn coming in, showing the love over there on the YouTube channel, or on the Twitch channel, says, "Holy cow, it's my favorite broadcasting streamer. I stinking love y'all." I stinking love you as well, Joycelyn, coming in, showing the love over there on Twitch, as we do see another caution flag coming out here again. Another caution flag being displayed here in this one. We will take a look back and see what brings out caution flag number 6, 7. I don't even know what we're on now, as Natalie Underwood says, "That's my boy number 69, cheering on Kreider out there." Unfortunately, looks like the 72 here of Jonathan Gaston possibly going to be at the start of this or the end of this. We do see the 5 ride. That is the 5 machine. Ooh, heavy damage right there. All 4 drivers getting collected in that one, as that was a tough hit. Let's take a look here. As that is the 5 ride of Josh Kreider, who initially goes around here. I'm not sure if he just loses himself or just gets in there a little bit too deep. Looks like he just gets in there a little too deep, slides up the racetrack, makes some contact there with Landon Burbridge, and unfortunately for Burbridge, gets a little bit of damage, a little bit of contact, but the 5 ride goes around. Chris Stange in the Field Up Motorsports admin box 29 ride, doing everything he can to stay out of it. Unfortunately, Jonathan Gaston can help push him into that one, and Farrell Robbins as well, as Gaston gets in there hot as well on the throttle, rolls into it. Unfortunately, taking out not only the 5 ride, but the 29 ride as well right there. As, man, he almost saved that, ladies and gentlemen. We take a look at this number 29 machine. He was so close to getting this car checked up and avoiding the contact here. Look at him lock this car up. He's sliding it sideways to stay out of it, and I think he might have stayed out of the contact if it wasn't for the unfortunate break for Gaston and Farrell Robbins. If they didn't slide in there as quickly as they did, I think he might have been able to escape that one fairly easily, as we'll jump right on board here with this 72 ride. He's going to see it happen. He's going to roll into it. Unfortunately, just not onto the binders quick enough to avoid the contact here as it comes down the racetrack, and he also gets helped in there a little deeper from Farrell Robbins as Farrell gets in there as well. And all four drivers, pretty decent contact, pretty decent damage there for them. As take another look at it here from Farrell Robbins' perspective, is just unfortunate break right there. That short track racing, you're trying to carry as much momentum, trying to carry as much speed as you can through the corner, and unfortunately just not getting onto the binders quick enough, not having enough time to react there, and that's what creates a lot of carnage here at Richmond Raceway. And most of our short tracks here in racing, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag here in just a few more moments, as we'll take a good look here at all of our drivers. Man, we have a lot of drivers up in our webcam link here. They are all jumping in here, man. Each driver, I mean, week after week after week, we see more and more of these drivers want to jump in here, show off their setup, show off themselves here, you know, working behind the wheel, working out there on the speedway. You get a good look here at a lot of these contenders and what they're doing out there on the racetrack and what they're doing behind the wheel of their simulators, and you get some pretty cool looks, some pretty cool perspectives of a lot of these drivers out there on the racetrack. You see Landon Burbridge down the very bottom. You know, you see, you know, Matthew Wood up there. You see drivers like Josh Kreider and Dylan Carrier and so many amazing drivers that are a part of this league. You know, Brian Underwood in that 6th ride. He's the, I do believe he is the top left camera there. So, you know, take a look at, you know, all the different perspectives that these drivers are dealing with and their setup. Some drivers running single monitor, some drivers running multiple monitors out there on the racetrack. So, and some, you know, we did see for a while, we saw, you know, Dylan Carrier in the VR. Looks like this week not running VR. So last week had issues with it, ran into some problems, and this week it looks like he's trying a different way. He's gonna go just single monitor and not worry about the VR. So taking a hit right there, but he's back out there on the speedway. That's all that matters. As we go back to green flag racing here, lap number 72 going to get clicked off the board here. 73 laps up on top of the board as we still got over 125 laps of racing action here from Richmond Raceways. The 6th ride of Brian Underwood. Look out, almost going around here down the back straightaway. 6th ride very bent out of shape, got into the outside wall a couple times. Now some contact between him and the 1 right of Jordan Hand. Hand's going to go around. Big wreck on the front straightaway. Carnage here at Richmond. Around goes Jordan Hand. You see Brian Underwood collected. Josh Kreider. Oh man, a bunch of drivers collected here again. Oh man, more tore up race cars, more carnage here at Richmond, and we saw this one coming. As we'll play this all the way back here. See if we can get a good look at Brian Underwood down and out at corner number 2. This 6th ride was just trying to hang on to it, man. He was bent out of shape and really struggling with the handling of this 6 machine. Is right there, gets a little piece of the wall, almost gets into Hovarth, into the wall again, and then down here, you see the 1 right wash up just ever so slightly, and then him and the 6 kind of get tied together, and that gets the 1 bent out of shape. He has to check up, and as he does, that's where things get out of control here in this one. As he's getting bent out of shape, he's got to check up to try to save that car, and as he does, the 6 right gets into him again. The 69 pushes the 6 in there even farther. The 57 as well, getting right into that one and giving a shot to the 6 machine in. This creates a lot of carnage. Look at that 1 right up onto 1 wheel there. Danny White, heavy damage into the back end of the 69. And then Ryan Haller, Aiden Lucas in there. Josh Kreider, you see the 25 right, heavy damage as well, as he gets a big piece of that one. Let's see if we can get another angle at this. As, man, it's just a lot of carnage here already at Richmond Raceway. Oh man, so many drivers right there, just really nowhere to go. Caden Gargiulo getting into that one. He's getting some damage. Looks like Farrell Robbins getting a piece of the back end of the 7 ride. As Caden slides in there, trying to avoid it. Unfortunately, gets a good piece of it. Let's see if we can get a look here at Caden as he slides the 7 right up and through there, trying to get through it. Unfortunately, it looks like he just gets into the 77 there, and then 76 comes in and slams into his back end there as well. As, man, cautions breeding cautions here this evening, but that hit for the number 1 ride of Jordan Hand, that was a tough one right there. And Jordan was having a great run here all evening long. He worked himself up pretty far, but after those pit stops, finds himself a little deeper in the field and right back into the Hornet's nest. And fortunately, heavy damage has him down pit side here, but we'll get him stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing. See if we can jump on board here with the 5 ride of Josh Kreider. As Kreider just really nowhere to go here in this one, as he's just going to slam right there into the back end of the 77 ride. You see Danny White in there. You see all these drivers nowhere to go. See if we can jump on board. Danny White's going to get a great look at this one as contact happens in front of him, and he's in the throttle trying to roll as much speed down the front straightaway, and that's a tough spot for a big wreck like that. A lot of big hits, a lot of tore up race cars, multiple trips down pit side here for all these drivers. See William Conley back down pit side, Nathan Brook over in the 8 ride, Danny White, Ryan Haller, all down there getting work done. Chris Stange getting more repairs done. Aiden Lucas down pit side. All these drivers getting multiple trips down pit road to try to work on their cars and try to get these things pointed back in the right direction and back into one piece. But at the front of the field, it's been fairly clear sailing for a lot of these drivers. We've seen the 78 ride of Ryan Rose lead quite a bit of laps now, a lot under caution flag since he took the lead away from Matthew Wood. Wood has been lucky enough to avoid a lot of that contact, a lot of that carnage, and he rolls right there behind our race leader. Thomas Hovarth just narrowly avoided heavy contact into quarter number 2 with that 6 machine on the last restart, so he's hoping for more good luck like that, as that could have happened down the back straightaway when we saw the 6 ride of Underwood very bent out of shape here. But see this field kind of all coming back together, drivers rolling back out onto the speedway here. You see a lot of damaged cars here still out there on the racetrack, a lot of cars that had some pretty bad damage, some pretty tore up race cars there. See William Conley rolling back out, Nathan Brookover. Look at Brookover's ride, man. That car is absolutely toast. As we go down through the Geico restart zone, we go back to green flag racing here at Richmond Raceway. So the green flag back out onto the racetrack here as Ryan Rose continues to lead the way. Is door-to-door for position number 2 is Thomas Hovarth trying to hang on to that second spot. The 16 ride of Matthew Wood trying to jump back up into second as here comes Grant Applegate right there in position number 4. He's looking for more as he drives down low underneath the 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood will slide back to 4th as Applegate in the shades of Ricky Bobby number 57 will jump up into that 3rd spot on the speedway. Dylan Carrier, who we saw get tied up in some wrecks early in this race, the 88 ride, the Phoenix Esports machine up inside the top 5 right now. A good recovery race here for the 88, looking to try to stay clean and green for the rest of this one, as he's got Landon Burbage right there behind him. Benjamin Romano there as well, as Romano, it's a little piece of the outside fence there, is Brian Underwood right there behind him. And then we see Jonathan Gaston, Jordan Hand back up inside the top 10 after using his quick repair and getting that car fixed back up and back out onto the racetrack is Josh Kreider, Farrell Robbins, the 69 of Jordan Kreider there in 13th. And we see Dallas Stewart, Caden Gargiulo, our top 15 out there on the racetrack. As we've seen a lot of unfortunate contact there for a lot of these drivers. See the 5 ride, some pretty good rear end damage still here for Josh Kreider. Let's see if we can get a look here. I do believe we got Josh Kreider up on the webcam here. We'll get a good look at Mr. Kreider out there on the speedway here as there he is. As don't mind the t-shirt, don't mind the t-shirt. You know, the I don't even know what it says. I know it says something provocative, that's for certain. Pretty sure what does this t-shirt say here? Something about important to finger a minor playing a guitar, so minor key to minor key. I like it if you're a guitarist or a musician or whatever. I guess some people would say that. I don't think any other situation you would ever want to say that, but we get the funny reference there for Mr. Grider out there on the speedway. But you get a good look at him behind the wheel of this fine machine as he rolls out there on the racetrack. You see the Premium Stock Car Racing League banner right there beside him, and everything else is Natalie with the laughing face. Listen, I wasn't gonna bring up his t-shirt, but he offered me $50 to do so. So paint sponsor ad right there. There you go. You see him waving in the webcam. You see him waving up in the webcam right there. I expect that PayPal anytime now, Josh. Anytime now. I expect that PayPal. We have fun up here, chat. We have fun up here, okay? We have some fun up here. The boys, they got their inside jokes. They have their fun, and they like to, display themselves. We'll take a look here a little deeper in the field. We see this is Melvin. I'm going to murder his last name again here. Melvin Brengrower in the Thrustmaster number 84 ride rolling out here as well. He's been taking it pretty easy. We've seen this car, avoid a lot of wrecks, a lot of incidences. He's just trying to keep himself out of trouble and on the lead lap here, and so far he's been able to do a great job at it. And 84 ride cruising out there. He's just kind of on cruise control right now. He may be a threat late in this race if we see him start to work himself up and through traffic, and having a couple extra sets of tires late in this race could be the difference between finding victory lane or having a good day at the speedway, other than being at the front of the field right now and being collected in some of these wrecks. So huge shout out there to Melvin. You see him up on the screen as well. So Mr. Brengrower giving us a good look here at the skills it takes to run these rides and to move your car around the speedways. You can see the hands moving, jostling around, getting a great look there at setup. And sometimes it's not fancy. Sometimes it's a desk, a little bit of a setup there. He's got the next level racing rig there with him as well, and that's what he's got his wheel hooked up onto. He's got his gaming chair there, and single monitor, just cruising out there on the speedway, and wheeling that car out there right now, currently I do believe in the 17th position on the speedway. So doing a good job just keeping himself clear, focused, and out of trouble out there on the speedway. As we'll take a look throughout some of the other drivers. We did see Landon Burbridge here as well. Landon's been having a pretty good run. He's been up inside the top 10 here for majority of the day. We'll jump right into the cockpit here and give you a look at what Landon's working with here, as you get a good look at him. So this is from his monitor, basically what you're looking at me. You can see a bit of his PC there, but you can see that wheel, and you can see exactly what it looks like on the screen. You see how much he's wheeling it there in iRacing. You can see how much a wheel he's putting into it in real life there as well. If you follow that orange sticker right there in the middle of the steering wheel, his may be a little offset from what the iRacing one is, or the iRacing one may be a little bit offset of what it actually is. But man, those are pretty close comparisons. The driver input between the wheel to the simulator is so fine. It's so close that you can barely tell the difference. Every little bit that he's moving that steering wheel in real life, he's doing that on the simulator as he works underneath the 88 ride right now of Dylan Carrier. So Carrier, he's rolling out there right now as well. We'll take a look here. A little bit of a battle box going as Dylan Carrier right there in front of him. Both these drivers rolling out there on the speedway, running nose to tail on the racetrack right now, and you get a good look from the aggressor standpoint. You get a good look from the driver that's trying to hang on and keep themselves from continuing to slide backwards, as Dylan up in the 6th position here. He's fallen back a couple spots now since that restart, and he's trying to stay there, trying to stay in that 6th position. His track position so key here at Richmond Raceway, and he's doing a great job trying to hang on and hold off Landon Burbridge, as Burbridge right there on his back bumper, trying to figure out a way to get around him, as Joycelyn coming in as well with the stretch, and the hydrate as well coming in. The hydrate as well. Those were a little while ago. I do apologize, Joycelyn, seeing those messages a little late. Nectar of the gods right there, ladies and gentlemen. Nectar of the gods. Shout out Monster Energy. Shout out the Monster Energy, keeping us hydrated, keeping us fluid up here in the broadcast booth here throughout the evening. As you see the number 88 ride now sliding back behind Landon Burbridge, but they're working basically door to door right now out there on the racetrack, and you get a great look at both of them still competing, still battling out there for that 6th position. Neither one backing down. They're staying right there together, almost door to door out there on the racetrack. Huge shout out there to both drivers, putting their webcams up here for us to get the perspective of what they're doing, what they're dealing with out there on the racetrack. Is right now they are doing a fantastic job battling there, as you do see the two-ride going to be able to make that move and get around the 88 machine. As we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up, as we are at lap 100. So we are halfway in and halfway to go here on the evening. 100 laps down, 100 laps of racing action still to be had here on the evening. Now we're going to be a little bit cautious here, as we're not sure if we will see a caution flag for the stage break, as I do know that stage number 2 ends right here, and there you go. There is the caution flag. So good time. We're not going to go to our Crank It Up quite yet. We'll go to the Crank It Up when we go back to green flag racing, but you do see the caution flag fly. No incident out there on the racetrack. Stage number 2 going to come to a close, and it's Ryan Rose who picks up the win here in stage number 2. I'm going to get a quick drink into me, chat, and then we're going to see if we can pull Ryan up into the broadcast booth. Alrighty, let's see if we can get Ryan up here for a quick little in-race interview. See if he is in the Discord anywhere. We're looking for Mr. Rose. Where may he be? Where may he be? There's so many drivers in here. There he is. Okay, we found him. We found him. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wait until he gets into his pit box here, where he can kind of focus up, and we'll wait and see if he can come out of his pit box clean here. So we'll keep an eye on this Burt's Electric 78 ride. Ryan Rose picking up stage win number 2. I do believe he was our first stage winner, as well as I do believe he was out in front at the time. So picking up both stage wins on the evening for the number 78 machine out there on the racetrack. The Harpoon Designs number 78 going to roll out there. He is going to be the first driver off of pit lane, so we'll see if we can pull him up here into the broadcast booth here for a little in-race interview. Hey Ryan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, I do.
Ryan, man, what a run so far for the 78 ride as you're rolling out there on the speedway, being able to pick up, I do believe, not only stage win number 2, but I do believe you were out in front at the time of stage number 1 coming to a close there. I know there were some pit stops and some caution flags right around that lap 50 area, so I'm not sure exactly when they called stage number 1, but definitely picking up stage win number 2 here on the evening for the 78 ride, man. Take us back, throughout some of this race, as we've seen, abundance of caution flags already, a lot of restarts, and a lot of tight racing here towards the front of the field, man. What's going through your mind right now after winning stage number 2?
Just hopefully make it to the end. I don't know about these guys that stayed out up here, but hopefully we'll be up there by the end. Glad to come in here and just dominate stage 1 and stage 2. It's fun. I'm only in here for fun, really. So
absolutely. Well, that's the main thing that we like to hear, is you're out there, you're having some fun, but it's always a lot more fun when you're able to keep your car clean and out of trouble, as we've seen a lot of contact, a lot of beating and banging back there behind you, but for the most part you've been able to stay in front of it. But a couple of those times where you've had to restart with the other cars that stayed out there, make it a little bit more hectic for you. You had to try to work through them pretty quickly. We saw you up on the high side, down the bottom side, shuffling around, trying to find your way back to the front of the field, man. Take us back through, that first part of stage number 2 when you had to work yourself back through that traffic.
Yeah, it was fun. I knew that where the lanes played out was going to be vital, so yeah.
Absolutely. Well, luckily enough, one of those drivers that stayed out has come back down pit side, so only one driver to deal with here with older stuff out there on the speedway as you're going to restart here in position number 2. Ryan, good luck and have some more fun out there on the speedway, and hopefully we'll see you back up here on the broadcast booth by the end of the night.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, you guys just heard it right there from the 78 ride, Ryan Rose, as he wins stage number 1 and stage number 2 here on the evening. Ryan doing a great job out there on the speedways. We'll get him stacked up, racked up, and ready to go. Green flag racing here once again. So green flag gonna come back out as Caden Gargiulo is our race leader. So Caden Gargiulo is our race leader out here on the racetrack, and he is going to head down through the Geico restart zone, and we're going to go back to green flag racing here at Richmond Raceway. And stage number 3, our final stage of the day, gets underway. These drivers have just under 100 laps of racing action to try to find their way to the front of the field and maybe up into victory lane. Quickly though, Ryan Rose, who we were just talking to, makes a quick move here, gets around the 7 right and puts himself to the front of the field. So Ryan Rose back to the point here is Matthew Wood right there behind him in position number 2. Thomas Hovar there in 3rd with Caden Gargiulo sliding backwards here quickly in this one as the 7 right just trying to hang on to it right now, is now under fire from Brian Underwood. Landon Burbage right there to his inside. Here comes Dylan Carrier and Grant Applegate. The 1 right of Jordan Hand there in 9th, and Benjamin Romano rounding out our top 10. And if he keeps sliding back, look at this, Dallas Seward. Dallas having himself a great day here at the Speedway. He's got that 38 right up into 11th. He may crack his way inside the top 10 here if he can figure out a way to get around this 7 right. He's going to make the move down to the inside, and Dallas Seward up inside the top 10, now onto the racetrack. We saw him get tied up in that first yellow flag of the day. Heavy front end damage for him, but the crew has went to work, gotten that Supra fixed back up and pointed in the right direction, and now see Dallas inside the top 10 right now. He is the hard charger on the evening, up 18 positions. Started back in 28th. That was the last starting position here on the evening. So started dead last and now up inside the top 10 here for Dallas Seward, man, having himself a day here at Richmond Raceway and hoping that he can keep himself out of trouble here for the rest of this race and continues to find more speed. Now looking underneath the 24 ride of Benjamin Romano for the 9th spot here. So Dallas Seward starting to move forward here in this race, man. He's having himself a wonderful day at the racetrack. Is Jordan Kreider right there behind him, trying to get that Viagra rubbered up. Number 69 ride working back towards the front of the field. Melvin Brangruer right there behind him. See Jonathan Gaston, Caden Gargiulo, the 7 ride who restarted as our race leader, already sliding back quite a few spots here. The 7 ride back into the 14th position as the 74 right there working to his inside. Unfortunately for the 74 of Jaden Porter, he is a lap or multiple laps down on the racetrack, but still showing some pretty good speed out of that 74 ride. Same with the 76, I do believe, is Farrell Robbins still on the lead lap, so good job by Farrell Robbins. We know he's gotten tied up in a few of these wrecks here. He's had some pretty good damage to that Baskin Robbins ride. Chris Stange as well in the fueled up Motorsports admin box Dumpy Energy number 29 ride. He's had quite a bit of issues here himself, but right there able to work himself into the 14th position now with a pass on that 76 ride. Aiden Lucas, the 77, Josh Kreider in the 5 ride, rounding out our lead lap drivers. I do believe William Conley is the first car, 1 lap down out there on the speedway. Nathan Brookover, I believe, right there behind him, and then Jaden Porter back in the 21st position. Ben Gleason back in 22nd as Kevin Winker still rolling out there on the speedway for the Muhlenberger Custom Homes Sonic Graphic Designs. The Winker Nation number 42 ride back in 43rd. A couple laps down there for the 42 ride after multiple heavy hits there for that 42. Same with the 41 ride. Apollo Court, Ryan Haller. It's Danny White, I do believe, off the speedway. Trent Johns also off the track as well in the 28 ride. Evan Stewart also off the speedway there, so 3 drivers have unfortunately off the racetrack and down behind pit wall. So a tough break there for Danny White, tough break for Trenton Johns and Evan Stewart all having some tough runs here this evening. Lots of carnage, lots of tore up equipment. And a lot of other drivers are, feeling the hurt as well. Multiple laps down out there on the racetrack as Ryan Rose continues to lead the way here. He's got 4/10, almost half a second here between himself and Matthew Wood, but Wood staying right there with him. Thomas Hovarth having himself a day at the speedway as well as Hovarth there in third. Brian Underwood back up inside the top 5 as he rolls there in fourth, and Landon Burbage rounding out our top 5 here on the speedway. Jordan Hand, Grant Applegate, Dylan Carrier, Dallas Seward, and Benjamin Romano, our top 10 here on the racetrack, as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite driver as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. wonderful job out there on the speedway. Gives us a good look at all the sights and sounds around Richmond Raceway. As out in front, it's the battle for the race lead right now. Only about 3-4 car lengths between the 78 ride of Ryan Rose and the 16 of Matthew Wood. As Wood there in position number 2, Ryan Rose continuing to lead the way, trying to hold off that 16 machine. Brian Underwood having a great run here. They're in the 3rd spot as Landon Burbage. They're in 4th, and Thomas Ovar rounding out our top 5 here on the speedway. As these drivers doing a wonderful job, a great green flag run here. These guys are putting in the laps here, and they're clicking them off the board in a quick hurry. 142 laps in the record books already down, and just a little over 50 laps left to go here. So just a little over a quarter of this race left for these drivers to try to find their way to the front of the field, to try to figure out a way to beat this number 78 machine here on the evening. As he continues to lead the way, Rose out in front. He's putting a lot of drivers a lap down. Is right here in front of him. You see the 7 ride of Caden Gargiulo, who restarted. Last restart, he started in that top spot. He was out in front trying to play a bit of a strategy move here. And unfortunately for the 7 ride, fell back quite quickly and now at a risk of going a lap down as our race leaders are catching up to him. Looks like he is going to make that hard left-hand turn, and he is going to head down pit side here. So Caden Gargiulo coming down pit road, a green flag pit stop. This is a dangerous game to play. You can go multiple laps down here in a quick hurry. Richmond Raceway, and unfortunately for Caden Gargiulo, a little bit of a strategy move, maybe hoping for more caution flags there during this last 40-lap green flag run. Unfortunately, has not gotten a yellow flag, and right now does not want a caution flag for at least another 20, 30, 40 laps until the rest of the field will cycle through and head down pit side themselves. And he's going to look to try to see if he can put these fresh tires to use, and hoping to stay, maybe get himself back to at least 1 lap down that you can salvage. If you're 2 laps down, it is tough to come back from that. As out in front, Ryan Rose continuing to lead the way, not making that move down pit side as Matthew Wood there in 2nd. Brian Underwood hanging out there in position number 3. So far, a great run for the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Gaston's iRacing Graphics number 6 ride rolling in that 3rd position. We saw him get loose and get some damage there during one of our caution flags around the midpoint of this race, but ever since then, he's had this car just pointing in the right direction. Has looked very strong and keeping pace with our race leaders. He's only about a second behind our race leader, Ryan Rose, and less than that behind the 16 of Matthew Wood. So he's been working himself through the traffic and hanging on right here in that 3rd spot within striking distance of our race leaders. As Rodney Stewart coming in showing the love, says go Stewart, cheering on Mr. Stewart out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, I do believe Evan Stewart already off the racetrack here. A tough break for Evan early in the race. He got tied up, had a ton of damage and a ton of contact, and unfortunately for the 37 ride, he was the first car to exit the speedway here on the evening, currently being scored back in the 28th position. So a tough break for Evan Stewart here on the racetrack. We do see Kevin Winker rolling back out there deeper in the field. Ryan Haller there as well. You see the Slim Chickens number 99 ride with some pretty good damage still in that right front, and he's been struggling here. He's been going down multiple laps and just trying to keep this car, pointed in the right direction, trying to stay out of trouble and out of our, lead lap drivers' ways out there on the speedway. Very respectful race here for the 99 ride. It's unfortunately not the run he was hoping for here this evening, and I think that goes for a lot of our drivers that are deeper in the field. When you look back at, Paul LaCour, Danny White, who are both off the racetrack, as well as Trenton Johns, not having the runs they were hoping for. Is right now Ryan Haller, the last driver on the speedway, the 24th car on the racetrack scored in that 24th position. Everyone back behind him in the standings is off of the speedway. So rolling out there in the last spot is definitely never a fun time, as Kevin Winker there in front of him in 23rd. William Conley in 22nd. Jaden Porter, who just came down pit side here in the Sim Racing Center 74 ride. Down pit side, currently being scored now in the 22nd spot, as Conley is going to work around him. So Conley up into 21st. Jaden Porter back to 22nd, as Ben Gleason, who was running up inside the top 10 here for majority of this race, now finds himself back in 20th, and multiple laps down here as well for the 66 ride. Nathan Brookover, heavy damage still on this number 8 ride as he rolls out on the speedway here, trying to just get some laps in, trying to stay out there, salvage as many points as he can here on the speedway. Unfortunately, that heavy damage hindering his chances here of maybe having a half-decent day here, and unfortunately a couple laps down now out there on the speedway, as the 7 rider Caden Gargiulo, who we saw make that green flag pit stop, down a couple laps, as well as Josh Kreider in the 5 ride. Farrell Robbins, I do believe, is one of the first drivers a lap down, as I do believe, yeah, he is the first driver 1 lap down on the speedway here for the Baskin-Robbins Camaro, as he rolls out there on the speedway. Being the first car 1 lap down has its benefits. He's currently in that lucky dog position. If we were to see a caution flag, he would get that wave around and back onto the lead lap here with the rest of our lead lap drivers. But it's definitely never a fun time going to lap down. And right now, Aiden Lucas, who is miraculously, with the damage on the 77 ride, all the things that he's been tied up into, is still on the lead lap here. So I don't know how he's managed that, but so far, you know, just good hanging on, keeping that car, you know, even though it's in pieces and it's very heavily damaged on the front and back end, every corner of that car definitely has some damage on it, but to stay on the lead lap, definitely a good piece of driving for the 77s. We do see our 3rd place driver, Brian Underwood, down pit side. Underwood comes down pit road here. Well, big move here at the front of the field. Now it's going to bring other drivers with him. Here comes the 16, as Matthew Wood looks like he's gotten up into the outside fence here a little bit. But Matthew Wood down pit side. Landon Burbage down pit road as well in the HendrickCars.com number 2 ride. He'll head down pit side looking for some service, and they can't wait too long here. Once they start coming, they're all going to start coming, as here comes our race leader, Ryan Rose, down pit side here. The 78 ride will make that hard left-hand turn, and this is going to bring a lot more drivers. Here comes the Optic Gaming, the Optic Texas Auto Value Parts Stores number 1 ride, down pit road. Thomas Hovarth, Dylan Carrier, Melvin Brengerer, Chris Stange, Aiden Lucas, all down pit side here as well. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But right now it's showing me Brian Underwood out in front of Matthew Wood right now. So Underwood and Matthew Wood were 2 of our race leaders that come down pit side. Brian Underwood was the first of the top 3 to head down pit road here, and he may end up with this race lead, as man, a great run so far for the 6th ride, and a little bit of pit strategy coming down that lap or 2 early may put him into a winning strategy, as a slow pit stop here for Ryan Rose. Rose still down pit side, where other drivers that came down with them rolled out, and this may take him out of contention of tonight's win. Oh no! Pit side mistake for the number 78 of Ryan Rose, our race leader, still down pit side here, as the rest of the leaders are rolling here. Oh man, there he goes. Must have had a speeding penalty down on pit lane for Mr. Rose, and that may take him out of contention here for the win this evening, and that may be exactly what Brian Underwood and Matthew Wood wanted to hear, as Matthew tried to hunt down the number 6, but heavy damage for the 16 ride. Oh my gosh, gets a heavy contact right there, as he just drove hard into the number 24. Man, that was heavy damage right there. The 24 ride of Benjamin Romano. I'm not sure if he was trying to get down pit side or if he lost it here. Looks like he's trying to come down pit road, and unfortunately comes down to the apron, and it looks like the rear end's just going to kick out and around on him here. He watches back up the speedway and just clips the 16 ride of Mr. Wood right here, as Matthew just really nowhere to go. Our Old race leader almost got into that as well. As, man, look at the carnage right there for the 16 ride. Heavy damage there for him as the 24 will head down pit side and now roll back out onto the speedway. Farrell Robbins almost going around right there in the 76, able to catch that car, keep it pointing in the right direction, as yet to come down pit road for a green flag pit stop. The 57 of Grant Applegate continuing to lead the way here. So Applegate out in front in the shades of Ricky Bobby, number 57 ride, the Me Machine, rolling out there on the speedway out in front here. Dallas Seward, our second place driver on the racetrack, with our third place driver currently being scored as Jordan Kreider there in the 69. Jonathan Gaston back in position number 4 here, still yet to pit, as well as Brian Underwood is the first driver out there on the speedway with fresh equipment out on the racetrack, and he's got about a 2.5 second advantage between himself and Matthew Wood. Wood now may have that additional damage here after contact with the 24 ride. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to handle and how that's going to, affect his car out there on the speedway. But he's trying to close the gap, trying to run down the 6th ride of Brian Underwood, as that may be the battle for the race win here this evening. Landon Burbage currently being scored in the 7th position with Jordan Hand. Thomas Hovarth, Benjamin Romano, our top 10 out there on the racetrack, as right now our top 4 still yet to come down pit side. So definitely some strategy being played here by a lot of these drivers. Maybe they can catch a bunch of these other cars that have already pitted a lap or 2 down here. So maybe the strategy being called with that move, trying to stay out a lot longer, even though you're giving up a lot of time. If you can catch these guys a lap down, could potentially better your day here quite a bit on the speedways. My boy Cody McCoy coming in, showing the love. How are you, Cody? Cody coming in with the like and the share on the broadcast. How are you, Mr. Cody McCoy? Coming in, showing the love here this evening. Coming, showing the love here in this one. As, man, some great racing action all evening long. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying this racing action, as we have 30 laps left to go here in the race, make sure you guys do me a favor. Absolutely free to do. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Whether you're watching over on Facebook, you're watching over on Twitch, or you're watching over on YouTube, hit the like button. Drop a couple comments for me. Let me know who you're cheering for, who you want to see up here in Victory Lane, and let us know maybe where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from, what state or what country possibly you're tuning in and cheering these drivers on from, as we're always intrigued to see where everyone's tuning in, where everyone's watching these drivers duke it out, as lap after lap after lap, these guys have been putting on one heck of a show for us, and this has been a very good green flag run, man. This has been an absolutely amazing run by these drivers. We've seen almost 70 laps of green flag action now some green flag pit stops and everything else, as the 57 ride having some connection issues, but at the front of the field hanging on to it is Dallas Seward there in second, and there's the caution flag they were looking for. We talked about it, that caution flag. If it came out, it could trap a lot of drivers a lap down here, and that may be the best case scenario here for Grant Applegate, Dallas Seward, Jonathan Gaston out there on the racetrack, as, man, this could potentially have major implications here on who may end up in Victory Lane here on the evening. As, man, oh man, this caution flag gonna mix things up quite a bit. Now the big question is gonna be, is do the drivers that have already came down have that green flag pit stop? They've now ran 5, 10, 15 laps on this set of tires. Do they come back down pit side again? Do they make another pit stop here? And if they do, they're giving all that pit strategy away right here, and there it is. They're coming down pit road. I'm not sure if anyone's going to stay out here. Jordan Kreider looks like he is going to stay out on the racetrack. Same with Benjamin Romano. So I do believe a lot of these drivers are going to stay out. A lot of them looking for the wave arounds to try to get back onto the lead lap. But you see Grant Applegate down pit road. First car down pit side here. And then, Dallas Seward hitting that pit strategy perfectly here. Let's see if we can get Dallas up into the pit box here, as the crew's going to work here on the 38 ride. Let's see if we can get him up into the broadcast booth right now for Mr. Seward out there on the speedway. As, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if this is getting you excited, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, as we're working on 1,000 subscribers here on Peacemaker Gaming. If you haven't became a part of the Peacemaker family yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button over on the Facebook or Twitch channels, as we're live on all 3 channels right now, and we're going to get ready to see if we can pull Mr. Seward up into the broadcast booth right here. Let's see if we can get him up here. Let's see if we can get him up into the booth right now. Gosh darn it. Hey Dallas, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
I sure do. How's it going, man?
Not too bad. Dallas, brother, man, what a run here in this final stage as we see a very long green flag run, some pit strategy coming into play. You stay out there a little bit longer, and this may be the best case scenario as you guys trap a lot of other drivers a lap down, gave you guys some good time to work on that car, make your pit stops, and all of a sudden, here you are, up inside the top 5 for this restart as we do see the 6 ride head down pit side again here for another pit stop. So going to be restarting in that 4th position, having, Jonathan Gaston, Matthew Wood, Landon Burbridge right there in front of you, man. Take us back through the stage, through your thought process during the green flag run to put yourself into this position.
I was either going to undercut everybody and pit at like lap 130 just so I can get some sort of off strategy, but I was afraid a caution would come out. And then my only other option was to just wait and hope a caution came out, and I had about 2 laps of fuel left. And then I saw Underwood just come in behind me and clean everybody out. I don't know, but I've never been so happy to see somebody wreck behind me. My only strategy really at that point was doing that. I don't have the car, maybe top 10 car, just from that green flag run, but I didn't think I had a chance otherwise. So that was what I needed. I'm glad that the strategy worked out for me. It normally doesn't, and we're gonna see what we have here. I don't think I have race winning pace, but if I could squeak out of here at the top 5, that would make me extremely happy.
Absolutely, definitely would be a thing of beauty, as we saw you get collected early in this race with some damage and some contact, but you've rebounded nicely. Some good pit strategy here late in the race, and in the restart here in 4th, brother. I'll let you go. I'll put you back up into your Discord, but thanks for hopping in here, and hopefully maybe we'll see you back up here before the end of this race.
All right, thanks, man. Hope it's a good finish.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from a moment Dallas Seward up here in the booth with us as we will go back to green flag racing, get a good look there at the 38 ride. Not quite the restart he was hoping for, as the 7 ride right there below him. It's a good run. Luckily enough, though, that 7 ride is currently scored a lap down. That is Caden Gargiulo. So the Gargiulo is a lap down out there on the speedway. As right now, there's not a lot of drivers left on the lead lap, as out in front, Jonathan Gaston leads the way here. Jonathan leads the way as Matthew Wood right there in position number 2. Landon Burbridge there in 3rd, as Burbridge having a great day here as well in that 2 machine's been up inside the top 5 all evening long. But we do see another caution flag fly. So another caution flag will be displayed here, as cautions breeding cautions here at Richmond Raceway. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up there as you do get the webcam look right now on board here. You get a good view of the number 38 right there of Mr. Dallas Seward out there on the speedway. Dallas hopping into the booth with us, giving us a good inside look there on that race car and out there on the racetrack and his thought process during that long green flag run here. So shout out there to Mr. Seward hopping on and being a good sport there, putting his webcam in. But we will get a quick look here. Not only going to look back and see what brings out this caution flag, so it looks like Jaden Porter getting collected in another one here. Looks like Porter was rolling in around about the 7th position here, but unfortunately multiple laps down for the Sim Racing Center ride and just loses the rear end, goes for a loop-de-loop. I'm not sure if anyone else gets collected in this or if they all stay clear, as doing a great job hanging onto the brakes there, making sure he was clear before he goes back to the throttle. As there you go, you see the rest of the field going around him right there. A quick caution flag as the 74 goes for a spin. We'll take a look back and see what happened, as he was talking about Brian Underwood, unfortunately getting in there, making contact, and causing that caution flag there before the rest of the field had to come down for pit stops, which really set the tone here for late in this race. Let's see if we can get a look here at Brian Underwood, who unfortunately maybe just missed the brake pedal, looking for a big run. You see Dallas Seward right there in front of him. Melvin Brangruer, Josh Kreider right there as well. He takes a look down low, tries to go 3 wide. Unfortunately, contact here between him and the 84 just barely avoids the 38 ride, but takes out that 69 of Josh Kreider. Kreider and Underwood both heavy damage there up into the outside fence there, into that Federated Auto Parts logo, and fortunately, both drivers with pretty good contact there. That's what brought out caution flag before this one. The caution flag before this yellow flag is Jaden Porter bringing out the most recent yellow on the speedway. As we'll jump on board here and take another look at Underwood. And what happens here is, he just gets a big run, looks to the inside. Unfortunately, just kind of ran out of room there. 3 wide between him, Brent Brewer, and the 69 rider, Josh Kreider. And Kreider might have ended up with the worst end of that deal. Him and Brian Underwood, you see him trying to drive this car straight. Unfortunately, it looks like the wheel is bent, about at 10 o'clock right there. So definitely some toe issues there and some front end handling for the number 6 riders. I see him going straight, and the wheel is turned to the left right there. So a little bit of damage for him to keep on working on as he is back down pit side, getting that car fixed up here before we go back to Green Flag Racing. The 69 of Josh Kreider also down pit side, getting that car repaired, as well as they'll get ready to rock and roll. They'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in just a moment, as out in front, continuing to lead the way, it's Jonathan Gaston at the front of the field here. Gaston is our race leader in the Gaston Racing Paints number 72 machine. Matthew Wood, who was our early race leader, led about the first 39-40 laps of this race, and he's hanging on right there in second. Landon Burbage has been up inside the top 5 here pretty much all evening long. Dallas Seward, some great pit strategy, finds himself here in 4th. Benjamin Romano there in 6th. Then we see Thomas Hovarth, Jordan Hand there in row number 4. Actually, Hand is in 6th. Thomas Hovarth in the 29 of Chris Stange there in row number 4 on the speedway. And then we see the number 5 ride of Josh Kreider, the number 88 of Dylan Carrier, rounding out our top 10 here on the speedway. Melvin Brangruer, Caden Gargiulo, our top 12, as Gargiulo will start deeper in the field here as he was able to get that free pass. We saw Underwood and Jordan Kreider just come back onto the racetrack here, and unfortunately, the number 78, Ryan Rose, still a lap down, so we're going to need another caution flag for the 78 ride to try to get back onto the lead lap here, as he was our race leader going into the green flag pit stops. Unfortunately, I believe getting caught speeding down pit road, as you see these drivers shuffling down the back straightaway here. Drivers trying to find lanes here. Drivers becoming a little bit more intense, a little bit more aggressive here as the laps are clicked down here, and we are getting closer and closer to our checkered flag. Things are going to get very, very interesting as drivers trying to get every inch they can, as we see the pass for the lead. Here comes Matthew Wood. Wood down through 1 and 2, gets a great run and finds himself a way around the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. Gaston slides back now into the 3rd spot. Here is Wood out in front. Landon Burbage there in position number 4 and looking for more. Is hang on, Dallas Seward gonna go around. Dallas Seward going around there as the Jordan number 38 machine, the Air Jordans ride, gonna go for a loop-de-loop. The Xfinity Mobile ride going around, and the caution flag is going to be displayed here. Heavy rear end damage for that Toyota Supra. Hopefully the crew can go to work and get that car pointed back in the right direction and back into contention here pretty quickly, as right now he's the last car on the lead lap, being scored back in the 14th position. Getting tied up in this one. This was a tough hit right here, as things were getting stacked up behind the 72 ride for quite a little while here. These drivers all right there trying to figure out a way to get around the 72 of Gaston, and I think this kind of just logs jams them up on the high side. The 38 getting onto the binders to check up the speed of the 72 ride here. The 54 Hovarth gets in there a little bit too deep, gets underneath of them, jacks up the rear end of that 38 ride, and around goes Dallas Seward. Seward hard up into the outside fence. Looks like the only driver to really get super heavy damage or get collected there in the yellow flag. So a tough break for Seward, but definitely a break for Hobart there. Maybe a little bit of front end damage for him as well, and definitely not what we wanted to see late in this race. But we talked about the aggression starting to heat up. Drivers starting to get a little bit more aggro out there on the racetrack. And when it comes to the bush, pushing and shoving, it's just getting started here with, inside now. Almost 10 laps left to go. When we go back to green flag racing, it will be within 10 laps to go here on the evening. So that's definitely going to make things very, very interesting here for these drivers. This is my boy, Derek Cat, Mr. Cat, coming in, showing the love. How are you, Derek? Derek coming in, showing the love, smashing the thumbs up here on the broadcast. How are you, brother? Coming in, showing the love here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. As right now, we got 29 viewers over on the YouTube channel, and we only got 9 likes on the broadcast right now, ladies and gentlemen. Only 9 likes. That's like 1/3 of the percentage of people have liked the stream. So if you haven't liked the stream, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go, as we're gonna get pumped up. We're gonna get ready here for a wild ending to this evening's broadcast, as we will see the green flag inside. 10 laps left to go. Is this time by the start finish line? 9 laps to go. We'll go up onto the board as we do see the lights turn off the official iRacing pace car. I do believe, let's take another look here. I do believe, no, the light's still on the official iRacing pace car. So that means we are going to get another lap under caution. And that means we should see the green flag come back yet with about 7 laps left to go in this race. So that's going to make things very, very wild. Nelson Johns coming in, dropping that like on the stream as well. How are you, Nelson? Nelson coming in, showing the love here as well. As we're going to take a quick break, we're going to get a word in here from our sponsors over at NJB Designs.
Revolutionize the way you see your car with the hottest trends in sim racing. At njbdesigns.com, we specialize in transforming your vehicle into a work of art. Whether you're looking to add a sleek matte finish, a flashy chrome accent, or a custom design that turns heads, our designer has you covered. Imagine winning in a car that reflects your personality or promotes your business and style. Choose from a wide range of colors, textures, and finishes to suit every taste and occasion. Why settle for ordinary when you can stand out from the crowd? Visit njbdesigns.com today and let our team of professionals bring your vision to life. Transform your car, transform your journey, and be a champion, and choose us.
Alrighty, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Here in this one, Matthew Wood, Landon Burbage, 1 and 2 on the speedway. A great restart down through the Geico restart zone for the number 16 of Matthew Wood. As Wood out in front, continuing to lead the way. Here in this one, you see Gaston with a good run to the inside of the HendrickCars.com number 2 machine. As drivers back and forth down the back straightaway, 2 wide, 3 wide, everyone looking for positions out there on the racetrack. You see the 88 of Dylan Carrier trying to work himself up through the field. Here comes that 54, Thomas Hovarth. Hovarth right there, and Josh Kreider out of nowhere, now up inside the top 5 for the rubber, and up number 5 machine as he now looks to the inside of Jordan Hand. Kreider making a late race push here inside the top 5. So isn't that 54 machine of Thomas Hovarth, as he's right now on the outside of the top 5 looking in here. Jordan Hand trying to hold on to that 4th position as Kreider works down to his inside. A great run here for the Gaston's iRacing number 72 of Jonathan Gaston, as he is out in front, hanging on to this race lead as things getting a little bit tighter back there behind him, as you see Caden Gargiulo trying to work himself towards the top 10. Melvin Brangruer having a great run here as the 84 up inside the top 10 right now in that 10th position on the speedway. Dallas Seawer, who we saw just get collected in that last caution flag, heavy rear end damage, but hanging on right now, currently running in the 13th spot as he battles door to door there for a little bit with the 78 of Ryan Rose. We saw Rose win stage 1 and stage 2, now back onto the lead lap after getting caught speeding down pit road during our green flag pit stops here in the final stage of the the day. And those caution flags got him back here on the lead lap, back into contention. But I don't know if he'll have enough time. I don't know if anyone will have enough time to catch this 16 ride of Matthew Wood. Is Wood out in front and running away with it. As down across the line, another lap off the board as he sees the Twin Sticks. 2 more laps left to go here from Richmond Raceway. The last thing he wants to see is a caution flag. He saw this happen to him last week. He doesn't want to see it this week. As down through quarter number 3, he's going to breathe a sigh of relief as we'll take a look right on board for this final lap as the white flag has been displayed. Matthew Wood up in here as we get the webcam going for the Wood machine as he's head down through quarter number 1 and 2 for the final time this evening. Down the back straightaway for the final time into corner number 3 for the Racers for Christ number 16. Matthew Wood is going to pick up the win here in the Lonnie Kreider 200 from Richmond Raceway. The 16 ride Matthew Wood will get it done. He is going to celebrate. You're going to see all the emotion on him up here. He is absolutely ecstatic. He's pumped, picking up the win. Drivers coming by, giving him some nudges, giving him some congratulations here after getting the dub here on the evening. He's going to get ready to burn down the houses. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Mr. Matthew Wood, here on the evening. A great run for Landon Burbage as he comes home in second, and Jonathan Gaston rounding out our top 3 here on the evening. But it's all Matthew Wood as Wood gets the job done. And Wood, man, picking up a big win here this evening. You see Landon Burbridge right there with him. They're going to celebrate together here as Burbridge having himself a solid second place evening here as let's see if we can get both drivers up here. Both drivers into the webcams as both these drivers pumped up celebrating these wins here on the evening. As we'll see if we can get a little side-by-side here for these two as they're absolutely pumped picking up the win here on the evening, man. They're young pups, young drivers at the game here, and you know, they're a force to be reckoned with, man. I think this may just light a fire underneath that 16, may light a fire under that 2 ride of Burbage. They've had some good runs, some good cars. 16's had a couple good finishes, but the 2 ride's been looking for this very, very solid standout race, and he's gotten it here tonight. Same with Mr. Wood after last week's race where he was looking to pick up the win. He was about half a lap away from seeing the white flag and cruising to victory there at Auto Club Speedway. Late race caution flags, a couple NASCAR overtimes unfortunately took him out of contention of picking up the checkered flag, but here tonight, not going to be stopped. He's not going to be stopped here tonight. He puts himself up into the victory lane here at Richmond Raceway as we'll get ready to pull him up into the broadcast booth here for his post-race interview. Wait for these drivers to jump up into the waiting room. I do see Jonathan Gaston already up there, excited to be there as well, as we'll get ready to pull Mr. Wood up into the booth here for his post-race interview. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Hello.
Matthew, man, give the crowd a wave here. Give them a little bit of a bow after that performance. As you park yourself up here in victory lane, we got the webcam up for them to see you, man, as what a run, what a race. And, yeah, definitely flexing on the field here this evening as you park that 16 ride up here in victory lane. But it wasn't easy sailing for most of this one as we saw you battling hard there. The 78 ride of Ryan Rose for a lot of laps there. Rose able to get around you, around that lap 40 marker, pick up that first stage win and the second stage win, but you pick up the most important one here on the evening, and that's the final stage, the checkered flag here of the evening.
Yeah, I think I just absolutely shattered my neck. But I mean, I love it. This is one of my best and worst wins, I think. I love it. After last week, I needed that. I really did. But I had to take it against probably one of my best friends in the world. I had to take that against Landon. I absolutely hate that. Ryan probably deserves it. I'm going to be completely honest. Ryan deserves it. I don't know what happened with Brian. I was just looking in front of me, and then all of a sudden, I'm door banging Gaston, and then I look in front of me, Brian's in the wall. I don't know what. I don't even want to know, probably. what was said in that chat, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, overall, just a really good race. It just feels like I'm worse on cooler tracks. Last season we saw it 2 races in a row at Homestead for me personally. Of course, it wasn't in PSCRL. It was daytime at Homestead for the championship. Dominated the first half of the race. As soon as it turned night, I dropped. And that's kind of what it felt like here tonight, to be honest. I didn't feel like I conserved tires like I wanted to, but Ryan was just he's gonna get a win and Landon's gonna get a win it's inevitable. Those two are just blindingly quick. Brian needs a win. Brian desperately needs a win because he hasn't won in 2 seasons. Which I don't think he won last season unless I'm forgetting something. But either way, I mean he should have won more than he did last season. So again, like I said, I'm stoked. I'm absolutely a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders, but a lot. One shoulder got weight lifted off of it. The other just had about 20 pounds more.
Absolutely, brother. As definitely celebrating hard there. We see it in the webcam, celebrating and being excited about picking up the win, and still feeling a little bit gutted. I know you wanted to last week pick up the win there for Landon, and obviously the situation with his grandfather and everything, and that kind of hanging there, and then here this week having the opportunity to pick the win up yourself again here after the disappointing finish of last week's race. We talked about that before we pulled you up here after, seeing that late race caution flag go into the green-white checkers and, pitch strategy coming into play, then getting tied up in the carnage there last week, were you having a little bit of flashbacks there, maybe a little bit of PTSD after, taking this race lead late in this one, trying to run away from the field, having that pretty decent gap between yourself and Landon, and just hope and praying that you see that white flag?
Yeah, I definitely had that feeling on the last lap, but it wasn't the same scenario. Of course, with how it was, I wasn't leading the whole race like I was last week. Really, I just struggled. I don't particularly like Richmond. But I was relieved to get the caution, but every time I'd run away, there'd be another one, and then another one, and then another one. And I think my main goal, other than winning, was just to keep Landon in second. And I told him that, and I mean, I'm just blessed to have him as a friend. And that he said, "Come up here, I want to do burnouts with you," and I said, "Absolutely, get up here right now." Because as much of it feels as a win to me, I mean, it feels apparently just as much as a win to him. So I mean, I will do anything to get this kid a win now. I'm locked in. He deserves it. The Lord's blessed me with just being, he's from a good family, obviously. And to have him that kind of motivation around. Now he can have his moments, and we laugh at him, and we look back and we laugh at him. Nothing bad, just funny. But we all have those. So
Exactly. We all have those moments, and you talk about trying to keep them there in second, and having a great day. We saw you up here leading laps early in the race. We saw you have the 16 ride pretty much up inside the top 5 for most of this race. He was right there with you for a lot of this one, sticking right there with you, and putting on a great show here for us. We thought maybe he'd give you a run for your money late in this race, but you just got such a good restart and make it a little bit easier. Obviously, as you said, you saw Brian get into that wreck there late in the race, and Ryan Rose, unfortunately, during those green flag pit stops, I do believe getting caught speeding down pit side.
yeah,
And unfortunately, had a penalty, had to stay down pit road, and I think that cost him a couple laps. He was able to get a waiver round back to 1 lap down, and then got the free pass there during the last caution break, and got back on the lead lap, and then had to go through all the lap traffic and all of the other cars there. Was able to work himself back up to 13th, but not nearly enough time for him to make up from that mistake.
yeah, and I know that feeling. And he joined, and he was absolutely gutted. He of course congratulated me, good sportsmanship, but he just really gutted that he quote did something stupid, and that's what he put it in his own words. And I know that feeling, and it sucks, but he'll get him one. I'm sure he will.
Absolutely. Definitely a fast cat out there. Definitely led the most laps here on the evening. That 78 ride was a rocket ship. But late in the race, when it counts, and to be at the front of the field, it doesn't matter how many laps you lead. It only matters which lap you lead. And that's the last one here on the evening. And you're the leader here across the line, being able to pick up that checkered flag, park your 16 ride up here in the Richmond Raceway victory lane. Matthew, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Well, this TV right here, I was watching the truck race on it. I don't know if you saw that, but I was watching the truck race on it. So you could actually see my face, by the way. I had light. Called me out on that the other day, if you didn't know. Anyway, I'm not in pitch black darkness now. My family's, I've put them through absolute everything. Computer after computer, failing on me. Finished second last night. Gained 18 spots in 2 laps, and I was happy with that. So overall, it's been a good week. NJB Designs making all my paints, and the whole field, and I thank the Lord for being here.
Absolutely, brother. Well, a great run and a great drive here for you tonight. Locks yourself into the playoffs after picking up a big win here at Richmond Raceway. A little bit of redemption for yourself after last week's fiasco at Auto Club, but a little bit of redemption. It's got to feel pretty dang good knowing that you're locked into the playoffs, and now you can focus, as you said, on getting your teammates up here and into the playoffs as well, and maybe into victory lane before the start of our playoffs.
Yeah, that's going to be my main goal for the rest of the season, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing you back out there next Saturday. We look forward to seeing you try to push your teammate to the front of the field as we'll get ready to pull Landon up here for his post-race interview.
Oh, crap, it's Daytona Road Course next week, ain't it?
I do believe it is. That's going to be a pretty tough one for trying to push a teammate to a win.
Though I do love road courses, so I'll help Landon as much as I can.
There you go. There you go. Well, we look forward to seeing it. We look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack, brother. And congratulations again on picking up the win here this evening.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there. Matthew Wood, a great sport. Got the webcam on for us here. A good sport here, picking up the win, having himself a great day at the racetrack. And now we're going to get ready to pull in our second place finisher here. His teammate, you see him up there in the webcam as well. We're going to pull Landon up into the booth right now. Hey, Landon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Landon, man, what a run, what a race. We just talked to your teammate Matthew Wood there. He talked about how, as much as this was a win for him, he said that, you were pretty pumped up about coming home in second, having a good run, and it almost seemed like it felt like a win for yourself here on the evening, parking that 2-ride up here in position number 2 with your teammate right there in front of you.
Yes, sir, man. It was an amazing race overall. After last week, going 2 laps down at Auto Club, I really needed this race to bump me up in the standings, and this was an amazing race, man. All night, I finished 6th in both stages, and coming second is just amazing, dude.
Absolutely, man. We saw you all evening long. We talked about you throughout the broadcast, having a great run and a great drive here. Pretty much inside, that top 5 all evening here. The 2-car just looked very, very solid, very, very fast. You weren't up there really contending for the win, but you were right there within striking distance throughout this one. And all of a sudden, a couple mistakes out of, Underwood and out of Rose, it opens up the door there for you and Matthew to go to the front row here after making a few passes, getting around Gaston, and unfortunately just not the restart here you were hoping for late in this one, as we thought maybe you would put maybe a little bit of hard work into the steering wheel and maybe try to steal this one away from Matthew Wood and having another late race win getting taken away from him.
Yeah, when Brian and Jordan got in the mix of those things, I knew I had a chance after that with the green flag and all that, because I wouldn't have them trying to intimidate me from behind, and I tried to play it smooth, and the car felt good all night. I was trying to save as much tire as I could to try to make it through the field, and it worked, and those cautions kind of helped out a lot throughout the run, and yeah, man, I'm not mad that I didn't get first, but at the same time, second feels like first sometimes when you got your teammate in front of you, and yeah, man, it's just a team effort there with me and Matthew. He was proud of me, I was proud of him, and I mean, this is how it is sometimes, man. You can't win them all, and I'm looking forward to Daytona Road next weekend.
Absolutely. Daytona going to be a very exciting race. Going to be very interesting to see you guys not only turn left, but turn right as well as, man, a great run and a great performance here this evening for you as, coming home in second, putting that number 2 machine back up here on the podium. Not only does it feel good, but helps you out majorly in those points, and now it also lets your teammate focus here, as he talked in his interview about really putting in the work, trying to not only advance himself with more playoff points and stuff, but also trying to get yourself and your other teammates into the playoffs here throughout the regular season. So look for that that number 16 ride to really try to give you a lot of pointers and really try to help you out here, and maybe next time you guys are running 1 and 2, maybe he'll pull over a little sooner and let you go by.
Yeah, man. I just want to give a shout out to my dad and my grandpa, everyone who's watching. They've just been a crazy support throughout the season, and yeah, I love them very much. And my grandpa's going through some things right now, and he's going through a tough time, but he's strong. I know he is. He's fighting through it. But I just want to give a shout out to all of them and Matthew as well. He's been a crazy support throughout this whole season as well with everything. I mean, he's kind of like my number one friend on the sim, and I really appreciate him and all my teammates. Just everybody is in this league is just, I mean, everybody's amazing, and thanks to you for doing the broadcast and stuff. And I just want to say this is going to be a good season. I know it is, and thanks to everybody watching. And yeah, man.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we can't wait to see you back in action and next Saturday and see if we can find you back up here in the broadcast booth once the dust settles there at Daytona International Speedway as we head to the road course there in Daytona for some road course action, which will mix up everybody here. Will definitely mix up the lineup here, I think, quite a bit, as I'm sure a lot of drivers that are pretty good on ovals may struggle a little bit more on the road course stuff, so we may see a little bit of a flip-flop here for some drivers and may see some surprises next Saturday. But man, a great run for yourself tonight. No surprise there as you get this 2 ride up in position number 2. Landon, congratulations on the great run, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack.
Yes, man. I'm looking forward to next weekend. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here. Hopefully one spot better and up in victory lane yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
You too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there as Landon Burbage comes home in position number 2 here on the evening parking. That HendrickCars.com number 2 machine here in that second spot as away from South Carolina coming in and showing up, showing out, and putting on a great show for each and every one of us. Give a shout out there to Landon as get the webcam on there for us as well. Good sport there, always having the webcam on, letting us get a good look inside of the the gaming room of the 2 machine as we'll get ready to pull our 3rd place finisher in here for the afternoon. Our 3rd and final interview, post-race interview here. Our 3rd place finisher, the 72 rider Jonathan Gaston. We'll get Gaston up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Jonathan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
I sure do, man.
Jonathan, man, great run, a great race here for you. We saw you get tied up in a few incidences early in this race, but through that final stage, a little bit of pitch strategy, staying out there a little bit longer, and kind of playing out that hoping for a caution flag and trapping some drivers back there a lap down. It plays out for you here perfectly, and all of a sudden you get to start up on the front row. You're able to hold off a few of these drivers, but unfortunately, Matthew Wood and Landon Burbage able to find their way around you here, but you're able to hang on for a solid 3rd place run here on the evening, man. How pumped are you to be up here in the broadcast booth and take us back through, some of the strategy here on the evening?
Honestly, I'm tickled to death. I have a 3rd place. I ran practice earlier this week, and I was absolute hot garbage, and I didn't have very high expectations of this race. It's not one of my favorite tracks. My strategy was just ride around. We got that early couple cautions there, and I got tied up in them, and I had to use fast repair early, so I had to be real careful and not get caught up in anything else. And I wanted that long green flag run because I felt like I had something on the long runs, and sure enough, I stayed out there, and that really paid off. If I was a little bit closer on fuel, I was I was going to try to stretch it all the way, but I couldn't make up 20 laps.
Absolutely, definitely couldn't make up that match time on the speedway, but able to come home with a very solid run, man. A very solid third place finish, and you had to be getting a little nervous there late in the race. I mean, there was a lot of heavy hitters right there on your back bumper during that final restart. Take us back through that one. What's going through your mind when you look back there? You see drivers like Dylan Carrier, Jordan Hand, Josh Kreider, Chris Stange, all right there, ready to pounce, ready to try to take this third place finish away from you.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't have very much confidence, and I didn't know really how hard to push the car because I never pushed it the whole race. And once Matthew and Landon got by me, I was like, "Well, heck, I'm just as fast as these guys. Let's go for it." Just ran out of laps there, and I just didn't want to make a mistake and take myself out of a good finish. I've done that several times over the years where I'm up there, I'm up front, and I just overdrive and I throw away a perfectly good finish. But fortunately, I didn't do that tonight.
Absolutely able to hang on and bring that 72 ride home with a solid podium run on the evening. Jonathan, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here tonight?
Always thank my wife. Thank PSCRL guys for doing this. Thank you for doing a great broadcast. I know you broadcast some dirt races that I've been in before. You do an excellent job. Shout out to Hall Drilling, Tom's Tire, Precision Design, and of course my graphics thing that I do, Gaston's iRacing Graphics. And my teammates, they had a pretty rough night. The old dogs racing group, we're the elder bunch, and we had a pretty rough night. I was glad I could bring it home third for those guys.
Absolutely. At least one driver getting a good finish here. Is a lot of drivers here tonight, unfortunately, had a rough go here. A lot of caution flags, a lot of contact, but you're able to survive through it, able to work through it, and find yourself a way to come home in that third spot. Jonathan, congratulations on the great run and great drive here tonight. We look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack when we head to Daytona International Speedway for the road course there at Daytona next Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be an adventure because I'm terrible at road courses, but I thought I was terrible here, so you never know. Maybe I'll gain a couple more positions. I'll be on the podium for number one.
Absolutely, brother. That's what we look forward to, and hopefully one of these nights we'll see you up here in Victory Lane, whether or not it's here on the asphalt or if it's over on the dirt side, brother. We look forward to seeing you out there, and hopefully one of these nights up in Victory Lane.
All right, appreciate it. You have a good night now.
Absolutely, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, give it up there for our third place finisher, the 72, and Jonathan Gaston. Is Gaston coming home in position number 3 here on the evening as Sienna Taylor says, go Gaston, as says, let's go Gaston. Gaston with a great run, a great race, coming home there in position number 3. Hey, it's Kev, our boy over there, the 99 rider, Ryan Holler, coming in, showing the love, says, terrible day for the 99, sad for the way the race finished. I made a rookie postage on pits and ruined my night. Oh, brother, that's a tough one. We saw a few drivers, unfortunately, run into issues with some of those green flag pit stops, and throughout the night, just a tough night for a lot of those drivers out there. Rokill says, great runs there. Great race, everyone. Absolutely great race. Wonderful race, man. A lot of great action. A few caution flags, a lot of tore-up race cars, a lot of tore-up equipment, but nonetheless, these guys put on an absolutely amazing show for us. Lap after lap after lap, and you want to see how much these drivers are focused and committed to performing well and getting better and learning from mistakes either that they made or other drivers made or anything else. You take a look here. Let's show you Brian Underwood here. Let me see if we can get Underwood's camera perspective here into the stream as Underwood still working away here, working at his his craft, going through everything, and this is part of also the admin deal as well. So he's not only looking at his own stuff, but looking at seeing what other drivers are doing, seeing if there's any mistakes being made. Let's see if we can pull this up here. Let's see if we can get this front and center so you guys can get a great look here at what Mr. Underwood's doing right now. Is he's focused in, he's looking at the screen, he's going through step by step, either mistakes that he's made out there on the racetrack or rewatching different caution flags that he may have gotten tied up into. But this is the commitment that these drivers are working with, week after week after week, just trying to get better, learn more, and put themselves into a better position week after week. And Underwood doing a little bit of extra research right now out there on the racetrack. But man, great run, great drive here by each and every one of these drivers, man. We've seen Richmond races go a whole lot worse than what we saw this one go today.